It's been about 2 weeks since we took care of the job at K-Corp, and the immense dullness of traveling through a nest by car was just starting to sink in. Pretty sure I saw a road that looked exactly like this one 30 minutes ago. The way roads are built in the nests and back streets is rather dissimilar. If we were navigating the back streets, we would have been able to find a shortcut through the alleyways and corners. But navigating a nest in an automobile means driving through this absolutely abominable traffic congestion. I guess that's why people with cash is fair spend it on W-Corp warp trains and such. The warp trains, they are. The bus fell silent, as everyone seemed to simultaneously recall the warp train they saw in the Mirror Worlds. I think I prefer riding the bus. Duckord. Why don't we all take a nice little nap like Heath? I'm bored to death staring out the window. They spent days upon days of boredom on the bus, making very little progress. We boarded a tunnel that seemed to lead absolutely nowhere. We're almost there. The road will free up once we exit this tunnel. Just as Faust said, the traffic jam appeared to visibly improve, allowing us to make actual progress. That's good. I can't see much yet, but I'm glad we're almost there. Speaking of which, our destination was... Yes, indeed. Once again, we're being blindly led along by our guide to who knows where. Don't you think it's about time he started telling us where we're going? Dante's asking where our destination is. I was asking if he could start telling us where we're headed before we leave, but I thought better of it. Our current destination is... our final destination is the Lobotomy Corp branch located at what was that, Ishi? Yup, it spooked me. Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure why Ishmael suddenly jolted, but I decided to carry on with our conversation for now. Wait, so by our final destination, you mean... We are currently headed towards a temporary stop. Just as Virgilius finished his sentence, the bus emerged from the lengthy tunnel. Whoa! That's... I looked at the window, which had suddenly turned bright, and the cleanest sandy beach of the most turquoise blue ocean I had ever seen graced my eyes. Do I behold the Great Lake yonder?! With Don Quixote's enthusiastic exclamation, the sinners began waking up from their naps one by one. Phew, now that's a sight I haven't seen in a long time. Oh, Greg, darling, you've been here before? I've only ever heard of this place, never been myself. The sinners began excitedly chattering about the sea. Wait, it can't be my turn already! Except for one, that is. No, we're still not ready for this. Ishmael, you good? No, give me a moment. I need some time to think. Although I was still worried about Ishmael's sudden gloominess, I had faith she'd be okay. She was always on top of things, after all. Besides, my attention was drawn to the bubbling enthusiasm that has seemed to possess the sinners. So are we journeying towards the Great Lake? I've only heard of the Great Lake, but never saw it myself. So this is what it looks like, huh? Oh, perhaps our trying journey shall finally be rewarded with the seaside picnic! I suppose spending a nice vacation here could be a fun experience. If we were permitted rest, I wish to lie upon the summery sand and gaze up at the skies. I could use some nice tanning on a long bench. I wish to try a game of beach volleyball with everyone, that is! Sounds like the crike. The sinners were all eagerly chatting about the things they wanted to do. It was nice to see them excited for once, but... Hey, guide bud, are we really stopping at the beach? Everyone seemed to have completely forgotten the fact that Virgilius never mentioned if we were stopping at the beach. What do you think? Karen? Gonna hitch wheels in a ditch. Screech. The formerly on-track bus suddenly swerved, and everyone was thrown around the bus, as is often the case. Ow, ow, what treachery is this? An ambush? No, this is our stop. The sinners got to their feet one by one, groaning with pain. What the? What in the name of the wings?! Only the despairing cries of sinners echoed in the dark, damp view outside the windows. This cannot be! How are we to enjoy our vacations at a local such as this? This may come as a surprise to you, Don Quixote, but Virgilius never mentioned that we're here on vacation. Well, it is rather quaint. N.B. Aww, what was the point of showing us that beautiful beach earlier then? Right, wish I never even saw the beach, then I wouldn't be so disappointed. Hark! Right there is the Ephrosyne beach! Wherefore art we not journeying in that direction? Its air appears rather pristine and skies clear! Because that's not our destination. This cannot be. The sinner's faces grew dark with disappointment. I can't say I was a little excited to have some proper rest myself, but I had a feeling this was gonna happen. So, where is this exactly? It'd be in everyone's interest to focus on what's next. This is District 21, back streets of Viewport. Damn it, we're really not ready for this. Yes. So that's why there hasn't been congestion since the tunnel, because we're not in a nest. That depends on the nest in their back streets, so such generalizations are not encouraged. That seems to be the case this time, however. Is that a private beach over there? The water. Its colors are very different from this side's. I see. A boundary, as though hewn by a blade. Those are the telltale signs of the place's nature. Indeed, this is the Great Lake. That's just how it's always been. You can assume a well-maintained vacation spot like that is usually nest territory. My explanations keep getting hijacked. Does this place count as the back streets when it's so open? The definition of back streets isn't limited to literal streets between buildings. It refers all to the territories within districts not embraced by the nests. Right. Look at this minging rubbish. The place is in shambles. I'd be gobsmacked at this point the back streets. Oh-ho! Behold hither, this is a rather useful... What? Finish a sentence! It moved. What? The radio. It moved! Do the radios of District 21 scamper about? What do you want to... Whoa! At Heathcliff's cry, everyone turned toward a certain pile of trash. And there it was, all of a sudden a monster. So what are these bug crap things? Hey now, what are you looking at me for? Makes you think I'd know. I wasn't gawking at you! You're paranoid, that's what! Can't even talk about bugs around this guy. Ugh. They're trash crabs. They're what? Ishmael interjected all of a sudden. Trash crabs. They collect trash or scrap like that on their shells and use them as homes and weapons. They're a tiresome lot. They ambush people working by the water to attack those wandering in their area, and their numbers grow by the day. But since they're just one of the innumerable small fries of the Great Lake, what's more important, and more treacherous is... Ishmael? I was about to check in the fish mail, as I probably shouldn't let this go on for any longer, but... Hey guys! Already hard at work, huh? A couple people in work overalls seem to be approaching from a distance. Mika, there are valued customers! Watch your manners! Oh, okay, I guess. What are those R and T's? I think she's calling them rags and tags. Rain, they're calling us rag tags, so I have to watch my manners. Shh. They could be enemies. You two! Identify yourselves! Have you not been informed about us at all? No, not at all. That's why I'm suspicious of you two. Coming up with seemingly plausible yet unverifiable identities, like spies. I'm sorry, wouldn't real spies come up with a more structured approach? Indeed. Otis, there are cooperators who will be assisting us this time. Speak sooner next time. Pleased to meet you, Mika, Rain. We are the LCB, also known as the Olympus Company Bus Department. Bus! Right. That's what the person said too. Yes, the bus blokes. I was informed that the LCC before team was here first by that person, you mean... Sorry, let me check the business card again. LCCB. Right, all accounted for. Now that we're clear, why don't we continue this conversation back at the shop? Let's take a look at that bus too. This is an awkward place to talk, you know. We're their customers? Okay, care to tell us what we're doing here? Our destination, Newcorp, is an S composed of various nautical structures. Therefore, Mephistopheles in its current form cannot reach there. And the Great Lakes environs are unpredictable. You're gonna need a ship that can withstand such capriciousness. That's right, which is why we sought out a contract with an adequate shop to modify the bus. Huh. Adequate, you say. Let's go in. Did our last staff dinner really hit the budget that hard? I thought we were allowed to eat as much as we wanted. Like Roach just said, looking at the somewhat dilapidated shop, you can feel curious about the company's finances. But nothing good could ever come out of this conversation, so I decided to table the thought. Rain! I want to take a look at this bus. Why don't you get them to entertain the guests? Okay. Considers that we're led into what appears to be a workshop packed with tools and various mechanical apparatus. Seems to me this workshop is capable of making more sophisticated modifications than it initially appeared. Ah, you recognize these? During the war, it was of utmost importance to have a general understanding of arms and gear workshops. Ah. This awkward conversation was cut short by a sudden and deafening noise. What's that sound? That was Mephistopheles' scream. Or the alarm, rather. I'm sorry, I think I did something wrong. Are those stomping noises also you, Mika? Look, outside! They appear to be of the same species as the one we encountered earlier. They do look pretty similar. They are not pretty similar. They are indeed of the same species. Everyone, outside now! Outside. A gigantic enemy crab with massive shipping containers on its back loomed over us. Well, at least for a brief moment. We were soon overwhelmed by the sound of heavy metal scraping against the floor. Men, spread out! Where do we have to get cracking this time? God damn it. Limbus Company writers, why? Anyways. This is we're all collectively losing our minds. It's Noggin, of course! A dark figure leapt down from somewhere onto the creature's head. Sit still! Quit struggling! Ha! A blinding light and deafening explosion assault the crab's shell. Is it fleeing? The figure leaped gracefully from the back of the fleeing creature and slowly approached us. Ha! She squelched over the depressing mudflat in her slim fins and stood before us, a colossal harpoon resting on her shoulders. Right, so you lot are the bus people that fella mentioned. After some time passed, allow me to formally introduce them, with Olga this time. They are from Molar Boatworks, here to help us with modifications for Mephistopheles. Whoa, we're getting the whole intro and everything? Color me flattered. Big sis, they're your customers. You should watch our... Oh, come on. I didn't do nothing wrong. Did I? Bugger, I didn't even do anything yet. Yet being the key word here. Our business just opened, so there's nothing wrong with being a little careful. I'd imagine with the sudden switch in your career path couldn't have been easy. Was it manageable? Olga, grade 5 fixer. Well... FIXER! What? Thou art a fixer? I thought I caught a scent of the noble one! Wherefore hast thou strayed from the path of the fixer? The life of a fixer must have been grueling one, surely! Where's thy most prolific district? Which association of which test hast thou taken to rise to become a grade 5 fixer? A workshop examination association indeed! Fine. Yes, I understand. I apologize, Olga. Soon there will be peace and quiet. The red gaze. Greetings, I guess? Blimey, it's been so long since I had to be so polite. Well, that's polite enough. It seems the people have been returning one by one from the book since the incident at the library. How was it for you? Same story here. One moment was like, huh? Am I dead? And next, I'm suddenly waking up somewhere around here. No Mika, no Rain, stomach hankering? Thought I should grab myself a notch, so... And, how'd it go again? A trash crab appeared, you fashioned a few things around you into a weapon, smashed its head in, turned it into barbecue. Bob's your uncle. And Fanny's your aunt? Tasted like ass, though. And he started selling scrap metal from the back of those crabs. Okay, Rain, how about I leave the storytelling to you, yeah? That older lady's got a pretty flippin' personality, huh? Yeah, Roja, like someone else I know. I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, what's this? That's a prosthetic head, isn't it? Big sis, we'll be here all day if you keep derailing. Okay, I gotcha. The woman they called Olga fell back, clicking her tongue. And a man they called Rain came forward, bringing us up to speed. He was a fixer, working alongside Olga and Mika until they were all sucked in the library, getting wrapped in these things called receptions. And just when we thought he was a goner, he suddenly came to, began wandering, and found Olga. They began collecting scrap metal together, with Mika joining along the way, and ended up running a workshop almost like they used to run the office back in the old days. So there wasn't any particular order in which they were returned from the book. The patterns have yet to reveal themselves to me. Virgilius muttered something to himself, looking at Faust who stood near him. Faust nodded silently. I knew there was something between the two of them, but it was always something apocryphal I couldn't even begin to understand. Besides, I was starting to get worried about Ishmael, who was growing increasingly distraught. It was about time I talked to her about her sudden change. Ishmael, you've been here before. Looks like you recognize those crabs from earlier. Yes. Is that a problem? Huh? No, not really. I'm just wondering how they taste. Sounds like people eat those crabs. I can see plain as day what you're trying to do with that inane question, but I'll entertain it anyway. Yes, I've had it a few times as crab chowder. It's a pretty digestible flavor once I got past the vomit traveling back up my esophagus. Does that answer your question? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I didn't think that was the best question I could have come up with, but her reception was much colder than I expected. So, that thing is edible, huh? Almost looks like an abnormality or distortion. No, I don't think that's an abnormality or distortion. Really? Then, since Dante can distinguish between abnormality and distortion, they were able to tell without me explaining. They are living organisms, mutants if you will. Theoretically speaking, there shouldn't be any problem with ingesting them. Grandmother used to collect mutated animals too. I've never seen anything like this one though. What a priceless experience! Yep, so they're pretty much our daily grub. The one they called Mika was walking over from inside the boat workshop with an inscrutable look on her face. Mika! How much of it do we gotta work on here? You know, there's this thing that my father used to work in a workshop used to say. The whole shebang. What? All the way down to the engines? Something like that? No, not that far. I won't dare go tinkering with that thing either. I saw the internals of the bus, and it's on a whole nother level of complexity. But yeah, pretty much everything has to be changed. No flotation device, no propellers, no steering gear, nothing. So, what do we do now? This was to be expected. Please present us with a solution. Did the manager say something, or did they just tick-tock? Well, anyways. We do have a plan to fix it, but we'll be lacking the parts. Parts for the bus? What, do you need to collect scrap or something? Yep, exactly. And from what I've seen so far, I'm certain you and your company are cut out for the job. With that, Mika pointed away, toward where the trash crabs were. Feed the trash crabs and you'll be able to collect the scrap they're carrying. How many do we need to kill? A lot? Of course. That's what we're here for, isn't it? Precisely. Your job at this stop is to collect parts to modify the bus. It's a far simpler and easier job than retrieving the golden bough. Now then, while I converse with our cooperators. Everyone, to the beach. That is no beach! Yes, it is. Even that mud flat's part of the Great Lake, also known as the sea. We've been at it for about 2 days, perhaps. We were able to defeat a considerable number of trash crabs and collect enough scrap to fill a whole wagon, then some. Right, I think this will be enough for us to get started. Whew, can we rest now? Listen, I can hear my shoulders creaking with every move. Rodion, can you stop that? Looks like you're flexing at them. Well, it'll take some time to modify the bus, so we'll have at least a few days to enjoy. This place doesn't exactly resemble a tourist attraction. Considering we're all busy stretching, chattering, we'll leave that the work was finally over. But I had a terrible feeling this is probably not the end of our toil. Hmm? Enjoy what? Huh? Of course, I knew it. I said it was enough to get started. Which means you'll have to go collect more scrap, of course. How much more to be exact? About 5 times the amount you've collected so far? Mika, we're gonna have to work on the rear wheels too. Sorry, 7 times. Considering our current productivity rate, it seems we'll not be provided with adequate rest. Perhaps reducing the time dedicated to sleep would be contributed to our collective effort. No, this cannot be! We simply cannot! Don Quixote looked as though she were about to collapse, a woeful look on her face. Hang on a sec, though. How does collecting these pieces of scrap even help modify the bus? Of course, if we were simply bolting these scraps to the bus willy-nilly, it wouldn't amount to much. By using U-Corp's singularity to fuse the parts, we can make them work as though they were tailor-made for this bus. U-Corp? I thought their deal was making some kind of food packaging tech. You know, stuff that stops the stuff that stops the contents inside from spoiling or changing anyway until you open the packaging. You just eat a bunch of their canned food. Funny, Big Sis is the exact same thing. Some nests have more than one way of using their singularity, in case you didn't know. If the working principle is the same, one can always utilize the singularity's fundamentals to patent a singularity-based technology at A-Corp. U-Corp is not only known for its stasis preservation packaging, but also for its resonance tuning fork. Resonance tuning fork. Just like that bastard. Entwined, fused with things. And eventually devour them all, as though they never even existed. Ishmael, what's the problem? Dante, we have to tell Virgilius immediately. Tell him we have to collect the golden bough of other branches first. Give me a moment. Ishmael, are you okay? No, we are not ready. We're inexperienced. We don't know enough about the Great Lake nor about the whale. I know I'll help you out. I'll make Virgilius understand. You should go there. Not yet. I'm telling you. That place is... Blimey. It's gotten into you, eh? What, getting indigestion from the crab chowder or something? We all scrape through the same crab guts, but I'm totally fine. So what you throwing a fit? Since the first time we're going and not knowing a nit about what we're doing, we've been dead enough times to get used to it. Dying your way through a mission isn't really something to be proud of, Heathcliff. If we were your average fixers, you'd have been dead and gone on our very first mission. Our names scraped clean from whatever association's registry. You think me daft? I've had enough years toiling and brushing with death syndicates for the back streets to know I've got but one life. But it's different now! Clockface here to bring us back every time! Don't you think we've simply been lucky Dante was able to bring us back intact? What's up with this attitude? Now normality cracks my soul. Turn the clock, I'll let it crack my leg next time. We can keep crawling back till they're smashed to pieces, no? Oh, so you think everything we've seen there is at this everything... Oh, so you think we've seen everything there is to see at this point? You know that's not true. In the worst case scenario, Dante could turn the clock all day and not be able to bring us back. What if we encounter something we can never come back right from? Especially that monstrous whale. Never mind. Oh, don't do that. Like I won't understand a thing. It knocks me when you treat me like a stupid sod. You! Now, if you will allow me to inquire... It was perhaps because he was never the type to do such a thing. But the crowd immediately fell silent when Yi sang suddenly, loudly and uncharacteristically intruded upon their argument. Let us call to mind the various desires of ours so we enthusiastically proclaimed on our journey here. It is true, there is still significant toil to be had, yet it can also be said we have accomplished a certain milestone. Perhaps a momentary respite is warranted. Isn't that true, Dante? Yi sang. This is the first time Yi sang appeared so dependable since we started our bus journey. I nodded empathetically. Yeah, I agree with you saying. I think we can slow down a bit and do some team building activities together. How's that sound? Sure. Yeah, I think you guys take some time off. We'll let you know once we're ready. Excelsior! In that case, I say we participate in a game of beach volleyball! Hold on.
Beach volleyball! Beach volleyball! Beach volleyball!
With Don Quixote's well-timed assist, the almost icy mood seemed to defrost slightly. I have witnessed it myself! There was, and I speak with certainty, what hath appeared to be a ball of sorts amongst the stranded trash. 'Twould be no puffery to say that this injustice to deny ourselves merriment when a ball, able and bodies, in a beach all await us. Can we really call this a beach, though? Don Quixote, I told you, we're not here for a vacation. That I am well aware, dear Gregor. I appreciate thine advice, yet I simply do not have it within my heart to deny such a proposal when an opportunity to bring us together presents itself! Yeah, okay, at least hold back that big grin next time, why don't you? I am in agreement with Don Quixote. Saying. Upon reflection, I have no memory of engaging in such a sport with my fellows. I cannot say I am particularly talented in games of the ball variety, but this appears to be as good a time as any to experience it for once. Let us partake in this game of volleyed balls. Sheesh. We're so not ready. This isn't time to play ball games. We've been slacking so much as of late. Yeah, we were too lucky last time. Ishmael's starting to practically ooze all over with an ominous aura. It might be a good idea to divert her attention for a bit. Let's play a game of beach ball. A wise decision! I shall retrieve El Ballon! Oh boy. This is downtime activity designated by none other than the executive manager. Everyone, quit grimacing and accept it with gratitude. Okay, okay. Just hope I don't pull my back playing this game. I am aware of the rules and specifications of this game. Allow me to draw the arena. There were grumbling sinners, beaming sinners, reticent sinners. The reactions were all varied, but everyone eventually moseyed out to an empty lot to play beach volleyball. I stretched, hoping this activity would help break up the tense atmosphere. Sometime later. Now, let us commence! The field was drawn over a squelchy mudflat. The worn ball rocketed into the air with Don Quixote's serve. Is this how the game is played? With you saying it's nice to see, it's starting to look like we had a proper game going. Yep, you're pretty good. Huh. Oof. Meaningless, all of this. Otis, I think that surf would have killed me if I hadn't dodged it in time. Consider this a part of our training. Ryoshu, you're not supposed to hit the ball with your sword! Aha! Forsooth, I have received thy ball! We're wasting time we could use to study the whale's characteristics. And we don't even have a compass to guide us through the Great Lake. Damn it! And that bastard still gotta be alive. Somehow. For fuck's sake, woman! Heathcliff, unable to stand Ishmael's attitude any longer, kicked the ball with enough force that it might just burst. Huh? And the ball flew away over the mark, and toward a boundary separating us from the pristine beach we saw a few days ago. Did the ball just pop? It most certainly has. There appears to be a field of plasma invisible to our eyes. A field of plasma? Who put a field of plasma on a beach? A barrier of sorts, installed to separate the nest from the back streets. Along the borders of nests are installations that serve the same function, though their specific method may vary. Of course, there are always fences and whatnot to stop back streets residents from crawling into their precious nests. With that technology, they could have simply made the ball disappear without a trace instead of leaving the torn mess. Which gotta mean... they want to enjoy watching clueless souls be ripped to pieces, I bet. Glad the rich folk are having so much fun with our lives. I had no comment to make regarding the device's particular purpose or its sadistic nature. It took me a whole hour of my time to procure us the ball. Brace yourselves. The sound of the ball popping attracted the trash crabs. We'll have a chat after this. I really thought this could be an activity to dramatically bring us all together. It's all gone to hell. Why does this keep happening? Isn't about time we got used to this, Manager Bud? Come on, let's first take care of business. Hey, Ishmael. Yes. Can we talk, at least for a bit? I called over to Ishmael once the battle was over. Right, I've never done anything like this before. I don't know if this is the right thing to do or what kind of results this conversation is going to yield, but I can't just sit here and watch. Yeah, whatever. It looks to me like you've been preoccupied with something ever since we got here. You know, you're not really participating in group activities and things like that. Isn't it obvious? There's something more important at hand, but they're all busy enjoying themselves playing this stupid game. Something more important. Is this about the Great Lake? Yes. That we, in our current state, shouldn't go there? No. Right. So, why do you think we don't have a chance against whatever's there? I told you, we're not ready. We're gonna need at least a half year to acclimate to the Great Lake and the things that are there. Or, we could try to gain more experience, enough to overwhelm our disadvantages. And that goes the same for you, Dante. You need to be strong enough to at least take care of yourself. Which I can help with. And Otis, I'm sure she can help with your training too. If push comes to shove, yes. Wait. Half a year? Ishmael, we just don't have that much time to spare. Really? Is that why we're playing beach volleyball? Because we don't have the time to spare. And it's not like I'm saying we should just sit on our butts and do nothing for half a year. I'm saying we should visit other destinations first before coming back here. That is impossible. Not every location of the Golden Bough and the Nest has been identified, and the Before team hasn't completed their preliminary surveys yet. Excuses. I've known for a while that you've had some fancy ulterior motive. And whatever that is, this is a mistake you won't ever forget. Perhaps. Ugh, what a mess. In that case, we should at least map a detailed sailing route and plan out a combat strategy. Prattling on and on and on. Just when I thought our discussion was reaching a stalemate, Heathcliff butted in. What's your problem? Shut your gob! You think you're the only one struggling here? We've all died more times we can count every single one of us! So I'm telling you it'll work again, somehow! And I'm telling you that the Great Lake is different. What if the manager drowns? What if that thing eats us and our bodies can't be recovered? Do you understand? This isn't like anything we've been through so far. This could be the end of us! Then I won't have the chance to kill that bastard. Okay, let's say you're right. We go now, we're all gonna bite it, and I won't be able to get back up. So what's wrong with faffing about for a little while? What are those whales working out of something? You've been mucking up the mood ever since we got here, so how about you use some bloody common sense and not bring everyone else down with you? That's rich coming from you, Heathcliff. What common sense do you know of the Great Lake? Have you ever seen a whale? Since when were you such a know-it-all? What do you know about a sailor's life? How would you? All day you're whining about your girlfriend or something, dozing off in the bus, or throwing a hissy fit once in a while. Quit it. It's kill or be killed, by everything from the depths of the water to the heights of the skies, crawling and falling onto the deck. Innumerable natural disasters like acid typhoons, tuna tsunamis, cerebra storms, and a multitude of other terrors of the lake I can't even recall the names of. And from the storms, high waves as tall as the mountains. Following that, those fucking monsters that wash up on deck. Look away for a moment, and your mate, whom you've trusted with your life, is slain. Everyone, and every goddamn thing that goes mad and is transformed into something else entirely on that abominable lake. It's something that a pathetic, lovey-dovey tenderfoot like you won't ever understand. Not after dying 100 deaths. I told you to quit it! Before anyone could even step in, Heathcliff swung wildly at Ishmael. You don't know shit about me, a prick like you! Fellows. The tussle was such a blitz, no one could even attempt to intervene. Yisang almost looked pitiful as he stood there bewildered. For a moment it appears as though Heathcliff had the upper hand as his fist struck Ishmael right in her jaw. Ah! Whoa! Just as Ishmael appeared to throw a punch, she kicked Heathcliff's leg, throwing him to the ground. Ishmael, wait! In the blink of an eye, Ishmael took up her mace. She raises it high, as though she could strike down at any moment. Her arm trembles with uncontrollable fury. Yeah, what do? Bash my head in, like I did you before? Fine, kill me. No matter, I'll be right as rain in a minute. I was a fool to think you'd be any different from me. Everyone's the same after all. Ah. I wasn't sure what caused her sudden change of heart, but it was a relief of sorts at least. She looked Heathcliff with her eyes wide open, and dropped the mace to the ground. I wish that I would not have to again be witness to such belligerency amongst friends. Yet, such quarrels among fellows is but an ineluctability, perhaps. Ah, that brings me back watching them fight. We used to tussle just like they do now. Big sis! Shh! Shh! Dante, I neglected to mention this to you since we have not had a dispute like this since our first mission. But you could be held responsible in the future for management failure, should a similar workplace conflict arise. What the hell was I supposed to do about this? Well, what I wanted to say, but I managed to hold back my metaphorical tongue. How does the fault lie with the executive manager? Faust. It's those two fools who got into this senseless altercation. Preventing senseless altercations between co-workers is the job of a manager. Stop it, everyone. Indeed! Such behavior ill-fits the heroic nature of Limbus Company! Sinclair's hesitance, Don Quixote's attempts to diffuse, and Faust's impassive voice, and Otis' increasingly rising voice, in my defense, all that combined is starting to get incredibly irritating. Stop. Guys, enough. I had no other recourse left at this moment. Ishmael, Heathcliff, what? The two of you, stop working together for a while. Distance yourselves. At least until I can think of a way to deal with you two. It's not like I enjoy looking at a mug. Okay. Thus the moon fell into a pit as depressing as this mudflat. Okay, we have an approximate quote now. So feel free to go collecting those scraps. We spent the next few days collecting scraps with the rest of the sinners. The days were as suffocating for them as it was for me. Well, save for Otis, maybe. You there. Connecting those parts will cause an issue with the intake fan. What do we do then? That's like 3 separate wires. Amateurish. Allow me to demonstrate. This is nothing compared to what I had to do back in the day, when I worked with engineering corps. Otis, who appeared to be rather knowledgeable in engineering, continued to support Moeller Boatworks' bus modifications. Miss Faust, do you by chance possess any documentation of items that sinners may be partial to, or have preferences for in their personal information forms? We do not keep records of such details. He sang, as I have informed you repeatedly, it is the best policy as a sinner to leave the decisions to the managers. Oh yay! Nothing like boozing getting right sloshed to mend a broken friendship! What, maybe you could try my secret weapon? No way. You mean the king trash crab brain wine you've been talking about? Ooh, color me interested, actually. No. No, I don't think I will. I shall inquire them myself. Thank you still. I doubt it'll work. Yisang was trying to come up with various ways to bring Heathcliff and Ishmael's feud to a close. Sink. No. CeeLo would be preferable here. Ah, yes. Perhaps doing so while they're still alive would be a way of pursuing new direction in the vein of an avant-garde spirit. My suggestion was not to inflict them further pain, simply a more appropriate method of engaging in the culinary arts. I'm sorry, but when's dinner? I've been having the same conversation for the last 30 minutes. Rain, I'm dying here. I can hear the trash crabs going at it in my belly. Big sis, please get a hold of yourself. and it seemed that Ryoshu and Mersalt were trying to come up with ways to make the trash crabs more palatable. Not that I had any taste buds or a mouth, but it was starting to resemble actual food, at least in presentation. Kiddos, they're going that way! A child! I am not! Now, young Sinclair, el golpe de Gracia! Gregor, I'll take its left leg. Gotcha. Huh. Most of the sinners are busying themselves with hunting trash crabs and collecting scrap. They say that practice makes perfect, and everyone was already performing well-coordinated attacks even without my input. As for Heathcliff... Whoa! Gregor, are you showing off your rotisserie skills? Insipid. Your flames lack flair. Wait, he's just cremating it! It has been extracted. However, this can no longer serve its function as a proper source of nutrients. Give it hither! I have consumed naught but 3 legs so far! Ah. Heathcliff. Heathcliff? Ah. Oi. That's, the guide and I had a chat. Okay now. Was it really just a chat? Ugh. Just drop it! I won't trouble you lot no more. That's all. So, spare me some nosh? I don't know if Virgilius really had a talk with Heathcliff, but I'm glad that, unlike most other times, he was here to at least get Heathcliff to calm down. But Ishmael... A moment, Dante. Well, as one-sided as this chat's going to be... I'm sure as you've already been told in brief, I conducted a little meeting with the 2 problem individuals. You will see that the discipline has proven effective with Heathcliff, while Ishmael's case hasn't quite been resolved. Or to be more precise, there's no reason to resolve it. What are you talking about? You must be asking what I'm talking about. I hope you aren't expecting me to kindly explain everything to you. You'll realize it on your own soon enough. After all, this babysitting and fostering nonsense is not a part of my work, Manager Dante. I know you're putting in extra work, and I appreciate it. I'd like it if I didn't have to intervene anymore. You may consider the talk I voluntarily had with the 2 a small favor from me for your decent performance recently. Now, I have remaining business with fixers of Molar office. Like that, Ishmael was left alone, with little progress to speak of. According to the people from the boatworks, she apparently snuck out alone late at night to make various preparations. Even when I visited her, I found her hanging about and called over to her. She didn't respond to me at all. She wasn't ignoring me, rather. She seemed too deeply fixated on what she was doing. What should I do about her? No, what was I supposed to do then? Well, a clear answer still eluded me. Mephistopheles' Miserere was entering its final stages. All the sinners, save for Ishmael, gathered to behold the finished product. Oh, do I behold with mine eyes the transformed bus? Would one call this a bus boat, or a boat bus? I think I'll go with bus boat. Where did the wheels go? We'll need them again once we're done with E-Corp's district. A needless concern. Of course it's been modified to be amphibious, with both a boat form and a bus form. What is this, some kind of magic bus? The myriad of possibilities Mephistopheles holds means it's always been capable of various functions. Hasn't Faust expanded upon this detail once? Now, that's enough of that. Let's start it up. Gulp. As Mika fiddled with its controls, the bus boat shuddered awake. Huh? And sputtered off the odd screeching noise we heard earlier. I think we're missing something. Maybe it's the form transmogrifier is messing up. Yeah, I thought my eardrums are gonna burst. What could possibly be causing that noise? Mika, I think it's that one part where we had to make do with what we had. What did you say? Did you just say make do? We didn't have a choice! There weren't enough parts in stock. There's this one thing that's supposed to be irreplaceable, but the problem is... This wasn't the sound of the engine, was it? It's a gigantic mutant we've encountered before. It's headed this way. It is likely drawn here by the same clamor as before. That's good news. That big boy has the exact part missing on his back, don't it? It does, I guess. Big sis, are you really... I am, really. It's that one expensive, tricky to manufacture part, isn't it? Don't you remember the way it killed the employees of other boat workshops? Well, that's because it crashed into us, not because we're hunting the bastard for parts. But now, I have these lads and lassies to help us. Besides, it killed the people that helped to start Molar Boatworks from our bum days, didn't it? Looks like it's just the time to give it a right smashing down its noggin. And make me some more wine out of its brain juice, too. Big sis? Can we get some, too? What do you mean, we? This king trash crab is supposed to be a few years old, so it has to be the same one from earlier. Anyway, all we need to do is catch and kill that prick in it. Right on! You heard it, Clockface! Heathcliff turned to me, visibly eager to go up and crush some shells. Let's not. Isn't this better for us? Ishmael? Gee, Ishi, where have you been all this time? I was making preparations for our survival on the Great Lake, obviously. The least I can do is make an exhaustive guide on whales you can study up on, right? You know I don't read that kind of stuff. Then I'll keep reminding you until you have no choice but to read it. See, manager, we still need more time. There's so much more to prepare. That king trash crab can be repelled, can it? Let's do that and finish modifying the bus later. More time on our hands. Ishmael, I'm not sure. My lack of memory doesn't help, of course, but... I don't get what you're so scared of, or what we're supposed to be preparing for. As much as I want to respect your opinions and reflect them, I don't think this is the best for all of us, so... There is no all of us. Huh? Let's be honest here. Is any one of us devoting themselves for the sake of this? All of us? We all signed a contract with Limbus Company for our own goals. I did, Yusang did as we saw last time, and all the other sinners did. Aren't we only in this together to achieve our personal aims? And you, too. You're forcing yourself to look for those golden vows, things you've probably never heard of once in your life, just so you can get your memories back. You have a more selfish motive than anyone else here, so why do you pretend like you're doing anything for all of us? How dare you raise your voice against... Enough. Virgilius, who seemed to have been discreetly listening in our conversation, joined as though he'd been a part of it from the start. Ishmael, I believe I made myself clear during our meeting. The contract comes first. The contract, huh? Sure, this is the company I'm working for. Of course it does. Ishmael glared at me with a face unlike anything she'd shown before. I sensed clear hostility in her eyes. Fine, I'll abide by the oh-so-honorable contract. Manager, give me your orders and I'll follow them. So, if there's anything you want from me now on, state it, clearly. I won't get out of line by providing unsolicited help or explanations anymore. What are we waiting for? Weren't you gonna go order us to kill that giant crustacean? I'll gladly obey as it's stipulated in the contract, Manager Dante. After Ishmael finished speaking, she blankly stared at me as if awaiting my order. To which I could only reply with, let's go. As soon as I finished, Ishmael turned around and left the shop as if on cue. All I could do was lead the other sinners and follow her. Just then, I heard vicious sounds of crashing waves and roars of an all-crushing storm. Visions of destruction passed before me. Limbs and bits of flesh tear off in the shredding storm that brings crashing waves. Ishmael clings to the ship for dear life. And the behemoth of an eye, its overwhelming and all-consuming size looming over the ship, watches her in silence. Perhaps this could be a clue to Ishmael's perplexing behavior. According to Virgilius, the people at Boatworks have been saving up a trip for V-Corp backstreets where their fixer office used to be. After experiencing a warp train malfunction, they apparently decided they'd rather take the car. I considered telling them the truth I learned from a number of identities, but I figured ignorance is bliss and kept my figurative mouth shut. Maybe I feared that the things I said could bring bad results again. Like how Ishmael has fallen out with me. Come on, get working! Oh, we got him now! Whew, looks like our job's done. And, lucky you, the tide's in. Should be able to set off now. Now then, switch to boat mode. Oh, it transforms thusly then! Gotta say, I have a great admiration for whoever designed this vehicle. I've heard stories of it to see it in motion firsthand. If you tried it, it could certainly change in other forms, as long as the core is intact. How can such a core be real? I'm just amazed, for lack of a better term. Indeed, Faust is amazing. Alright now, get in your vehicle. You can switch the mode again once you're in water. Aboard the new bus boat-shaped Mephistopheles, we forged ahead into the ever-rising waters. My relationship with Ishmael was still precarious, which was something I wasn't sure what to do about. But since some of the sinners were trying to be supportive towards Ishmael, I decided it'd be best if I tried to come up with a solution in the meantime. Maybe I'll find more the further we get from the shores of the Great Lake. It's sailing alright. Does that mean we can get paid and go out for a meal now? I actually got our money a minute ago, as soon as we fulfilled our end of the contract. A delivery fixer from the Deviat Association came by and paid us the remainder. Oh! Our contractor turned up here a pretty big deal, huh? Ha! Damn, now that's a catch! How about we take a break from trash crabs and splurge for some pork? Pork belly barbecue! Sounds good, big sis. By the way, Mika? Yes? When did we add a submersible mode to the modifications? We didn't? The ship looks like it's listing. Oi! Get out the water, quick! Buckets! Where are the buckets? I have found a hole. This must be TD. We're off. Glub glub. I'll get the lifeboat. Guess we should prepare to pony up penalty fees. We're so screwed. With our frantic attempts to drain the bus and Charon's skillful rowing, we managed to get back towards the boatworks and have the bus repaired. With that, our voyage to the Great Lake began somehow in earnest. I hereby confirm today's close of business for the sinners. Whether we're riding the bus through a forest or navigating the bus boat over a vast lake, our daily routine changes very little. Thank you kindly. Starting now, you will all be given a maximum of 12 hours to partake in sleep and rest. The duration is subject to change. Have a good night. The usual hubbub followed by the usual leisurely idleness. I guess I'm not the only one starting to enjoy these normal routine days. It wasn't our choice though. By now I thought we'd be sailing vigorously across the waters towards the Botany Corp branch located somewhere within New Corp. But here we are, unable to leave the coastal side of the Great Lake, dawdling and twiddling our thumbs. Well, it's not like there's been an accident. While Faust didn't elaborate, she explained that we had to wait for now. If I were to hazard a guess, we were either waiting here to complete some kind of entry procedure like we did at K-Corp, either that, or we're waiting for someone, probably the before team, to get in touch with us. Which brings us here, surrounded by nothing but endless water. Sinners chattered about inane subjects before complaining about this immense boredom. But deep down, we were all exhausted from the unending onslaught of physically and emotionally drainings happening. Deep down, we all knew these leisurely days would not last. So we each elected to enjoy this brief maritime respite in our own ways. If thou needest mine assistance, as I have repeatedly made myself clear, I am quite alright. Thy countenance, returning the contents within thy stomach to the lake with such vigor, saith otherwise. Except for you saying you had a surprisingly low tolerance for seasickness. This voyage was proving to be rather uneventful. You saying, the day's over, you can go back to your room now. Oh, shall I finally be freed from this suffering? Seriously, I told you could rest in your room if you wanted. Our fellows must also have had their fair of shivering. I cannot, in good faith, seek comfort only for myself. You're the one with the biggest share of suffering right now. While I wish he'd be more reasonable with himself, I could see where he was coming from. I thought better of it than to try to convince him otherwise. I instead chose to help Yi-sang to his room. I thank you, Dante. Then, until later. I waved at him and watched him as he stumbled into his room and closed the door behind him. Then I shall seek myself respite as well, Manager Esquire! Yeah, rest well. Don Quixote walked to the same door Yi-sang had walked to. I can get a blurry glimpse into her room over his shoulder. I couldn't get a good look at it, but it was certainly not the same room Yi-sang had walked into. I see those doors every day, but I still don't get it. I should probably be used to this by now, but it's still pretty fascinating how the rooms changed based on who opened the door. I turned, leaving the shut door behind, ready to return to my room. There's a door immediately to the right side of the demarcation of the corridor we're not allowed to cross. Within that door is a space somewhat different from the sinner's rooms. In there were the wooden door to my room and the metal door leading into the mirror dungeon. The doors leading to excavation dungeons and the recently opened door to refraction railway also came into view. No new doors yet. For no reason in particular, I creaked the doors open and take a quick peek inside to see if anything changed. Well, I've never actually managed to catch any changes myself, but who knows? Maybe I'll notice something worth keeping to myself. Which I should probably report to Faust. Something must have caught a wind of my rather mischievous thought. An ear-splitting siren blares all the way here from the other end of the bus. Blimey, what the hell is... Oh boy, this again? M.E. Kill the volume. I spun around to face the other side of the corridor. The sinners, alarmed by the noise, were one by one peeking out of their rooms. They were used to the siren by now, but that didn't change the unpleasant fact that their sweet private hours were disturbed. Well met, Dante. Let us observe this disturbance together. Okay. I accompanied Faust to the helm. She fiddled with a few buttons and shut off the alarm. Incomprehensible, complicated-looking letters began to fill the round screen. Is that in your room? Even Faust needs a moment to decipher. Right. The siren always comes without warning. And with it appeared mirror dungeons, excavation dungeons, and refraction railways. I don't know if it's relevant, but I didn't see anything that would indicate activity when I checked the railway door earlier. It is unlikely that anything new would appear from that entrance. I find it difficult to believe that the next line would arrive so soon when the glow of the door leading to line 2 is yet to go out. I guess you're right. The first railway really took me by surprise when it appeared. A new door appeared before us, its edges shimmering with a blue glow, and when we entered it, a mysterious vehicle was just sitting there, waiting for us. Its appearance somewhat resembled that of Mephistopheles, but it was also patently clear that I'd never seen anything like it before. An odd feeling. I see your first encounter with the train has left a strong impression, Dante. Well, I recall you had a rather violent reaction when I entered the train to observe its interiors. Come on, I wasn't the only one that freaked out. Everyone did. What if that thing left the station before the rest of us got on? Was what I wanted to say if Faust hadn't already turned around from the screen, to which her eyes had metaphorically been glued for a while, and walked away. This wasn't it, then? No, this particular validity is not something we can utilize. Right. I thought it was an awkward time for a new door to appear. Too soon. The dungeons and railway appeared at awkward times as well, Dante. I recommend you refrain from settling into premature conclusion. A new variable may present itself at any moment. Moreover, if this validity had triggered an alarm in Mephistopheles' engine, then it naturally follows that a new door has appeared at an indeterminate location down the corridor. This may reveal a space from which one could never return. It is best that we keep track of these incidents. Even Heathcliff won't do anything like that again. Probably. As for my last advice to you, a premature conclusion is... Regardless, no serious issues have been detected at this moment. It would be more apt that we enjoy our remaining rest period. Now, if you will excuse me, rest well, Dante. With those as her parting words, Faust disappeared into her room in her usual manner. Left alone again, on this boat. I looked at the numerous letters displayed on the screen. Numbers, unintelligible letters, drawings and symbols depicting something. I had to shake my clock head after staring at that dizzying sight for a while. I wonder if this is how Yi-sang felt earlier. I'm starting to feel nauseous. I was barely able to hold back the vertigo from setting in. Time to saunter back to my room. Let's turn in early tonight. Another day, another prolonged and dreary period of waiting. Waiting and some more waiting for something to happen, of course. Our bus boat was still floating on the coastal Great Lake. Voices of discontent among the sinners started small, but they've been growing increasingly incessant as of late. Ah, holy crap! All of a sudden, an ear-splitting siren echoes throughout the cabins. It's that alarm again, warning us of a validity in Mephistopheles, but it was much louder, much more painful than the ones we've heard before. And this time, wasn't the only thing that assaulted our senses. Huh? We've never had flashing lights like this before, right? What is it this time? The hell'd you feed the bloody rickety bus? Oh, this must be a signal that the long-awaited adventure is finally nigh! Is this what we've been waiting for this whole time? No. Virgilius frowned as though he sensed something was off. He turned to Faust. It's one of those rare occasions where I could sense the slightest hint of confusion from him. Wee woo, Mephi's blaring and crying. Mephi sick? What is this, Miss Faust? I wasn't informed about a siren like this before. First, a correction of falsehoods is in order. Mephistopheles is not bloody rickety, and eating is not a part of its behaviors. It does make infrequent use of the enkephalin supply gear installed in the engine for fuel, but that is of no negative consequence, even if it was. For whatever reasons that may arise, can handily be repaired after a proper total disassembly. That was a figure of speech! So what's this now? Sounds like the bus is about to explode! To label Mephistopheles as some bloody rickety bus completely disregards the amount of pain and effort Faust dedicated to designing and... Heathcliff, if you don't take it back, I don't think he's ever gonna stop. Seriously? Yeah, Heath, take it back. The bus might actually blow up before she explains anything. I take back what I said earlier. I cannot comprehend what you were attempting to take back. Your rather abstract reference to this unknown concept you supposedly mentioned earlier is hardly clarifying. Anyway, allow me to list the specifications of screws used in Mephistopheles' construction to make this creation so impressive. First... Fine! I take back what I said about the bus. It's not bloody rickety and doesn't eat. I'm sorry, alright? The cabin briefly echoes with his cries, then a brief silence. I think I saw Faust flash the briefest grin of satisfaction. Good. Is the clown show over? This juvenile, tedious exchange is testing my patience. Yeah, it's a bit different from the usual alarms. Don't you think this one's for a new door? It is quite simple. The night is here. W-D-Y-M T-O-I-S-Y-N-C. Talk or I snap your... Walpurgis Night is here, it seems. The night is not here. That is very apparent. At least in this coastal area. The name doesn't refer to the time of the day in which the sun moves beyond our line of sight. Then, it appears to me that, by that designation, you're referring to a certain phenomenon. These things seem to be doing a little better, now that the waves have died down somewhat. I am, indeed. I am certain that all of you are most familiar with the fact that extracting identities and ego from mirror rolls is one of the many functions of Mephistopheles' engine. But that reach is rather limited. Even as it's expanded over our journey, we have yet to reach mirror worlds that are too far from our own. Is this the Golden Bow's doing? I noticed it was fishing up more and more new things as the longer our journey went on. Broadly speaking, yes, you could say that. Dante and our collective experiences gradually expand our range of extractions. Normally, extractions require a certain resource, but there are times when the identity cards appeared out of nowhere. Do you recall them, Dante? Yeah, some just randomly popped out of the engine. Wait, slow down. The hell's an identity card? Oh, you still don't know? I'm jealous of you, Heathcliff. You have a talent for ignoring anything you don't care about. You looking to get your head smashed in or what? Right, knock it off, you guys. Guidebud's giving us the evil eye. They're, you know, the, things Manager Bud pulls out of the engine from time to time. Little rectangular objects with our alternate world. Wait, was it mirror worlds? Anyways, those things have a depiction of our other selves on them. Yes! The things that look like mahjong tiles! I thought they looked a bit like wafers. I believe their denomination comes from their appearance as cards that contain identities. Thus it naturally follows that they are named identity cards. So we're using those rectangular toys to transform into alternate selves? I never used them before. That's because I'm the one using them. On the device issued to Dante are indentations through which identity cards and egos can be inserted. They are reflected when we participate in a battle. Oh, so that's what they were fidgeting before every fight. I could tell from his flabbergasted expression that none of it had ever occurred to Heathcliff. On the other hand, Don Quixote wore a somewhat forlorn expression. What's wrong, Don Quixote? Well, Is this not about time when Ishmael would intrude upon this conversation and denounce Heathcliff with biting words such as, "You still don't know? That's just like you. This emptiness weighs heavily upon mine heart." Oh, you're right. Something was missing from this whole convo. I knew it. You right, daft bastards. Enough. We're not getting the information we need. Miss Faust, please explain the present situation. What are these green lights? Understood. If we take into the account of the case of identity cards Dante received without spending any lunacy, we can draw a conclusion that Mephistopheles' extraction has an element of unpredictability tied to its uncertainty. The hell is she blathering about now? Yet this item is of your design. To say it has an element of unpredictability would indicate that... Correct. Enkephalin fuels its engine, yes. However, extraction's reconstructions utilize chaos. Well, in easier terms, you could say it uses the concept of possibilities itself as fuel. Our extraction range grows when we are able to clearly observe specific possibilities in infinitely branching mirror worlds. During this period, however, the border between mirror worlds are entirely shattered. Using the present as our anchoring point, it can be said that our current extraction range is approximately three years past or the future. During Walpurgis Night, however, that range grows to about 10 years or more. In that case, thou meanest to say that identities of prominent fixers from times past may grace us with? Theoretically speaking, yes. Each Walpurgis Night has its own peculiarities. It will not let us reach into all potential possibilities. Does that baby avail their alternate selves as a legendary fixer, Arch Magnificence, the one and only? Red Mist! That is extremely unlikely, but I will not completely dismiss the possibility. The extended range, I suppose, could be defined by the worlds affected by the identities that were indispensable to the formation of this current state of the world. An example of that would be Lobotomy Corporation headquarters prior to White Knight's Dark Days incident. In some ways, your words sometimes find a roundabout way to the truth, Don Quixote. I didn't know what this red mist was, nor did I know what the White Knight's Dark Days was. But I could hazard a few guesses that they must have been pretty significant, considering that Virgilius' face grew visibly tense as soon as they were mentioned. The sinners were unsettled, too. We can conclude this siren is no cause for any immediate concern, then. No, it isn't. Consider it a festival that arrives once in a while, for now. Festival. Festive times. Karen is festive, too. I don't know if I got all that, but this isn't what we've been waiting for, is it? No, we will continue to wait. The sinner sighed and groaned at disappointment as the newfound anticipation fizzled. Well, something did happen, but it wasn't something that would get us moving. I could see what a disappointment this might be to them. So, how do we stop that green light from flashing? It will turn itself off when Dante extracts something from the engine. Do not worry. Alright, back to business. Dante, extract something and turn that alarm off. W-A-D. We'll just be running more dungeons through the back door with whatever new thing they'll pull anyways. Still, this leisureliness is a rare opportunity, isn't it? Blessed be the patient ones, or so it is said. Every sinner says their piece before returning to their seats. Some of them tried to walk out the cabin to gaze at the lake. It's something they must be growing a tad tired of doing at this point. Maybe they're just going out for a long sigh. I noticed walked up to me. Are you not worried, executive manager? Huh? About what that mad scientist said. For now. There has to be more to that statement. Should I investigate this matter further? Otis was right. Well, Faust did tell us to consider this nothing more than a festival that arrives once in a while. She definitely knew more than she was letting on. But if Faust speaks something in her characteristically cryptic manner, it means she'll never tell us until she wants to. Well, it does bother me a little. But right now, we don't have a lot of options. Let's just put a pin in it for now. Otis nodded affirmatively, bowed, and returned to her seat. Well, let's get extracting like Faust said.